Well, today I thought we would focus on ferns at the clearing, but we're going to start with one non-fern plant because it's in bloom and I like it so much. This is spikenard, and it's just about to be in full bloom here. A big cluster, not showing, white, off-white in color when they fully open. It really comes into its own later in the season when these individual flowers form a little purplish berry that is very colorful and great for birds. So it really will be much showier a little later in the season. But it is this big, it looks like a shrub, and they can get 5 feet tall, 5 feet wide. And it looks like it's a shrub, but it's actually an herbaceous perennial. It will die back to the ground late in fall and come back up next year. But it has this big presence in a landscape. It's a wonderful garden plant in the right place. You have to have room for it. It's in the same family as ginseng. But this is the one next to room 11 in the west dorm. And I've got quite a few at home, and I see it other places around Door County. This might be the biggest one I've ever seen. Sometimes you just get lucky and get a plant in the right place where it's really happy, like this spikenard. And now we'll move on to the ferns. This is one of 5, I think there's maybe actually more than 5, but we're going to see. I'm going to show you 5 native ferns this morning, starting with ostrich fern. This is on the north side of the east dorm. And this is about how tall they often get, 3.5 feet tall. It forms this wonderful arching vase shape with these long, they're 3 foot long fronds that apparently look like an ostrich feather. That's where it got its name, ostrich fern. But like all ferns, it has rhizomes that can shoot out they're like underground stems, and then a new one can come up sometimes a few feet away, like these two might be connected underground. So they'll often form a thicket like this. It's a wonderful fern, good for naturalizing, likes partial shade, not deep shade, not full sun. And it's one of the ferns that has an edible fiddlehead, that new growth that looks like the end of a violin, that scrolled end. When they're a few inches tall, they're considered a delicacy. Some fern fiddleheads, like bracken fern, which we'll see later, are considered carcinogenic, but not this one. So it's also used for culinary purposes, but it's a great landscape plant in the right place if you want a nice patch of this soft, fine textured fern, ostrich fern. We're along the schoolhouse path. On the west side is maidenhair fern. I love all ferns, but I especially love maidenhair fern. It's so delicate, and it's got this wonderful architecture. It's a lot tougher than it appears it would be because it looks so delicate. It grows and it tolerates drought pretty well. There's a patch growing along the entrance road in more gravel than soil. Not quite this tall. It's a little stunted because of that, but it stays green even through a long period of drought. But it really has this great form and texture and architecture. I've told people for years that the most painted, drawn, photographed, written about natural feature at the clearing is certainly the 3 pines at the bottom of the lodge meadow. I think maidenhair fern is second on that list. Artists and photographers just love this. Great garden plant too. Mine at home are maybe have a little bit more sun and maybe a little bit better soil. Mine are more like maybe a foot taller. But this patch has been here at least 27 years, as long as I've been here, and maybe much, much longer. Maidenhair fern. We're further down toward the schoolhouse in the schoolhouse path now, and this is a nice patch of bulblet fern, B-U-L-B-L-E-T, bulblet fern. Much lower growing than ostrich fern, very delicate, not as delicate as maidenhair fern, but it has these long, like 2 foot long, very narrow fronds that come to a point, often forms a nice patch like this. It's become one of my favorite ferns. It's called bulblet fern because, well, like all ferns, it reproduces by spores, but some ferns also produce, I'm not sure I'll find one, but they produce a little round structure. Here's one right here. Size of a small pea, a little round structure called a bulblet that can, in addition to the spores spreading and growing new plants, that bulblet can fall to the ground and grow a new plant. Most ferns don't do that. Some do, like this one. But, and I think I read somewhere once that this particularly likes high alkaline soil, high pH soil, alkaline soil, which we have here. So bulblet fern, only a foot or so high, very fine textured, long narrow fronds, come to a sharp point, and can produce these bulblets on the bottom side of the frond that can drop to the ground and grow a new plant. Now we're at the junction of the main drive through the property and the road to the schoolhouse going that way and the exit going that way. And there's a nice patch of bracken fern here, B-R-A-C-K-E-N, bracken fern. It's one of the circumpolar plant species in the north. That means it grows around the entire globe in the northern latitudes. And it grows in these sometimes large patches like this. It grows again through rhizomes and comes up in this solid patch in some cases. It can get actually, this is maybe 2 feet tall. I've seen them up to 3 feet tall or so. These big fronds, kind of triangular shaped. Bracken is the Norse word for fern, so it goes way back to Norway and Sweden. It is in that category of native plants that some of us refer to as a potentially nuisance native. I don't think that a native plant should be called invasive. My definition of invasive plant includes the word either non-native or exotic. Native plants belong here, but in certain places they can be a nuisance. Think of poison ivy. Think of ragweed and hay fever. Canada goldenrod can just take over areas where you don't want something to take over. Virginia creeper will climb up onto wood surfaces and can decay the wood slowly. And there are a number of other ones. And this in the wrong place, like next to a fussier garden, where it'll creep in slowly and can take over. So in the wrong place, it can be a nuisance, can be considered a weed, but in the right place, like right here, it's wonderful. And there's a lot of it. It's probably the most common fern in Door County. And again, in most places, it just forms these wonderful patches. It's very sensitive to frost, so with the first frost in fall, it goes down. But from sometime in April, late April, through sometime in October, early November, it's wonderful. We're right in front of the lodge, in front of the kitchen for our last fern, sensitive fern. At first glance, it doesn't look like a typical fern frond, much coarser textured, fatter, but it's one of our native ferns in Door County and a wonderful one. And it's been very happy in here. Again, sometimes you get lucky and get the right plant in the right place. I have this at home where it's only maybe 10 inches tall and it gets plenty of moisture, runs off a flagstone walk. You'd think it would be this tall, which is what I want. But you don't ever get what you want with gardening. But they're very happy here in the right in front of the kitchen, along with some ostrich fern sensitive fern, called that because it's very sensitive to frost. It's the first fern to fall down with the first cold weather in the fall.